Hello, everybody. What's going on, Leafs Nation? Oh my God, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. Um, you know, it was kind of a quiet summer. Kind of, not really. GM got replaced. Free agency happened. A lot of things happened. And we're going to get into all of those things. We're definitely going to get into all of those things. Season 4, episode 1 of the TML Domain podcast is going to be dropping next week. And we're pretty much going to go through the whole summer. We're going to start at Kyle Dubas. Actually, we should start with the playoffs. We're going to start with the playoffs, and then we're going to talk Kyle Dubas and Brad Tree Living and free agency and all that other stuff. But right now, for this video, something happened is worth talking about, and it's Auston Matthews signing for 4 more years. So, you know, my initial reaction was it was crazy yesterday on social media. Yeah, Biz Nasty dropping a video, super psyched, Matthews is signed. This is our year, this whole thing that he does all the time. But it's social media is crazy, and we'll go through it. But the crux of the deal is this: Auston Matthews signs a 4-year extension, which means he's a Leaf for another 5 years. He's got this year coming up is the last year of his current deal. Then he's got 4 more. And really, the key factor here is this. The key here is this. Forget about AAV, forget about term. The Leafs are going to get Auston Matthews for his prime years. If you're going to really contend, if you really want a shot at the cup, if you want to accomplish all the things that you want to accomplish as a team and as a franchise, you need this guy for his prime. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. And he's going to turn 26 in September. So 5 more years takes him to 31. So those are his prime years. If the Leafs don't win in those prime years and the contract ends, and for whatever reason he wants to leave, or for whatever reason the Leafs want to move on from him, if he's not already the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs, if he already doesn't own goals, assists, points, all the records, if for whatever reason his wrist injuries keep getting worse, if he if at 31 he's not the perennial 50 goal scorer, if he's a perennial 30 goal scorer, then there's a good chance that the Leafs move on from him or pay him less than what he's making right now. So there's a lot of benefits to signing for 4 years. I don't think, strapping yourself to this guy for 8 years at 13.25 was necessarily the best thing that could have happened. I know everybody wants the 8 years, like everybody else signs 8 years, and McDavid and McKinnon and all these things. But if the Colorado Avalanche never contend again, never win a Stanley Cup again, and Nathan McKinnon puts up, what was his numbers last year? Let's go look it up. NHL.com. Stats, points, skaters, points. So Nathan McKinnon had 42 goals and 69 assists for 111 points, right? If Nathan McKinnon's best season is 40 goals and 110 points, and he does that year after year, it's pretty much the same thing, right? Everybody says the key here is everybody wants to look at the contract and figure out or boil down how much of a raise Matthews got. So he was at 11,634, which was 14.64 of the team's cap, right? That's his cap percentage. If you take that exact cap percentage and apply it to this season's cap of 83 and a half, that brings you to 12.2244. 12.2244. If you apply it to next year's cap, which is when Auston Matthews' new contract will kick in against the $87 million cap, that same cap percentage of 14.64 comes to 12.7368. So let's just say it's 12.7 and a half. So 12.7 and a half and 13.25 is $500,000. He's basically getting the same cap percentage. Like he's $500,000 off the same cap percentage. Right? So is it technically a raise? Yes. His salary was 11.634. Now his salary is 13.25 million. So technically his salary did go up year over year, but in terms of the percentage of the cap that he's taking up, it's pretty much he's saying I'll take the same cap percentage, just up the new cap amount. That is roughly going to be 87 or $87.5 million. So when you really boil it down, he's not really taking up a bigger slice of the pie than he was on the 11.634. So if he's not taking a bigger slice of the pie, that means he left the money on the table. That means he could get paid more. I'm sure, there were bigger numbers talked about. 3 years was talked about, 5 years was talked about. I'm sure they looked at every single machination that there was. But I'm pretty sure that Auston Matthews is going to hit 31, or it's going to expire at 30. And then that September he turns 31. And he's going to sign probably the huge money long-term deal then, which is going to be 7 or 8 years, depending on the team that he signs with. If it's with the Leafs, it'll probably be 8. And if it's with somebody else, it'll be for 7. So is this good or bad? In my opinion, it's good. The Leafs got the most important thing out of this deal. They got the best goal scorer in the NHL, because he scored the most goals since being drafted. He is locked in for his prime years. That's all that matters. If you're going to contend, you need the best players in the world for their best years, right? Getting Patrick Kane at 34 or getting John Tavares at 31 is not the same thing as Chicago having Patrick Kane in Taves in their prime, right? Putting Patrick Kane and Jonathan Taves on any team at 31 or higher is definitely a whole lot different than having Kane and Taves in their mid-20s. Those two teams are completely different teams. One is a contender and one is trying to contend, right? Chicago, with those two guys in their primes, was a contender. Now, if the Rangers were to sign both of them, they wouldn't be labeled contenders right away, right? So, I'm so glad that this came to fruition. I think Tree Living did a good thing. A lot of people out there are saying, the Leafs wanted five or he wanted three. All that is speculation because we don't have proof of anything. But what we know is that he signed for 4 years, and that's a good give and take for him and the team. He gets to sign a 7 or 8 year long-term deal worth over $100 million. That takes him to retirement, and the Leafs have the option to either move on from him or try to keep him for the rest of his career, right? I personally, I believe Matthews when he says I don't want to play anywhere else. I believe Nylander when he says I don't want to play anywhere else. There's no reason for me to leave. What's the reason to leave? The Leafs are going to pay you the same thing everybody else is paying you, and I truly believe that Nylander is going to sign something with a 9 in it, and it's going to be for long term. I don't think Nylander is the type to, you know, do the short term deals. But it's unbelievable. Ever since the deal got signed, and all I did was I went to Twitter and the boss move, Matthews breaking it himself. That's the one thing I love. You see, like people, I tell this to people all the time. They don't believe me, but the Leafs don't leak anything. They tell players and they tell agents and they tell GMs. If you leak our negotiation, there will be no negotiation. Like it's up to you. If you want to negotiate with us, keep it quiet. We'll keep going back and forth. I'm sure we'll figure something out. Soon as it becomes public, sorry, we're not negotiating anymore because we don't negotiate through the media. And if you guys remember, Jack Campbell's agent did go public. He did make public comments. And the Leafs never negotiated with Jack Campbell. And the Leafs never offered Jack Campbell an official contract. Like, the Leafs are not messing around. So that's why I don't believe none of these rumors about Nylander wants $10 million or Nylander wants this or Nylander wants that. Not at all. When Nylander was negotiating his first contract or his current contract, all I heard was he wants 8.5, he wants 9, blah 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 blah. And then he signs a $7.5 million contract, which the Leafs manipulated to a $6.9 million cap hit. So at the end of the day, this pretty much started from when Shanahan took over and Lou came in. The Leafs said, if you negotiate through the media, we don't negotiate, period. And Dubas continued that, and I think Tree Living is proof that Tree Living is doing that because Auston Matthews broke his own thing. No insider knew the AAV. No insider saw it coming. It blindsided everybody. Good for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Don't believe anything you hear about Nylander. Really just stop the negativity. It's always, oh, Nylander's a whiner and Nylander wants this. And you guys don't know the player. Don't create some negative false narrative around the guy for no reason. Why? Nylander's doing a good job. He's scoring 40 goals. He's getting 80. He's a point a game player. He's scoring very important goals in the playoffs. He's one of your best playoff performers. There's absolutely no reason to hate this guy or create this false narrative around any of the players, right? Like, it's beyond me. If you're a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, I really don't see why go after Nylander. The guy is chill. There's nothing in the media about him. He doesn't do anything wrong. He doesn't get caught partying. He doesn't get caught drinking. He doesn't get caught with his pants down. Like he's just a good guy, and he's at the charity events, and he's signing stuff, and he's saying hi to people, and he walks his dog, and people walk up to him, and he takes the pictures. I've never heard anything bad about this guy for his entire like I've met him a couple of times. I have never in my life heard anything bad about this guy. I don't get it. Anyways, so the funny thing is, so from the moment Matthews drops his tweet, and I'm like, did his account get hacked? And then the Leafs announced the extension. I see it. I retweeted. I'm excited, right? Literally from the time I retweeted the signing, Buffalo Sabres fans all over me. I'd rather have Tage Thompson at this price, or I'd rather have and Sens fans, I'd rather have Stützle at this price. Stützle plus Chikrin equals Matthews' AAV. Why? Who? Like, why are you so triggered? Nobody said anything. Why all of a sudden the Sabres and Ottawa Senators fans jumping down my throat? For what? I don't care, man. I don't care. Both teams are completely irrelevant. The Sabres haven't made the playoffs since 2011. Bro, who cares about the Buffalo Sabres? Tage Thompson can set records. Nobody cares, man. I don't care how much he's getting paid. Good for you. You signed Stützle long term. Good for you. Nobody's talking about your guys. I don't know why my feed is full of Tage Thompson and Tim Stützle. Like, these fans are so weird. Like, it's been nonstop. Honestly, it's been nonstop. I don't for the life of me understand how fans of brutal NHL teams jump in your feed on whatever social media app, and they just start going to town about how bad the Leafs are. I'm sorry. If your team hasn't made the playoffs since 2011, who are you to talk to anybody? I really don't get some fans. Like, it's been nonstop the past couple of days. And I'm sitting here and I'm just looking at these people tweeting at me, and I'm just like, Buffalo Sabres fans think Tage Thompson is better than Auston Matthews.
No, 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 no.
It's Auston Matthews has scored the most goals in the NHL since he was drafted. More than OV, more than McDavid, more than everybody. Tage Thompson had one good year. This Buffalo Sabres fan messages me and he goes, those stats that you're tweeting out about Matthews are not fair because Tage Thompson really just broke out so year. I go, you know when Matthews broke out? His first game in the NHL when he scored 4 goals. He didn't have to be shit and then break out. Like, he just arrived and he said, I'm the best goal scorer in the NHL. I know you all remember where you were and what you were doing when Auston Matthews scored 4. That's a thing. That's an actual event that everybody remembers. It's like, where were you when Jose Bautista did the bad flip, hit that home run? Does Thompson have a moment? Does Stutzla have a moment? The Senators' best franchise player, Daniel Alfredsson, would be fifth on the Leafs. This guy played 18 years. He would be fifth in the depth chart on the Leafs. This guy played 18 years in the NHL and has two 30-goal seasons. Marner has two. Matthews has scored 30 every single season. Nylander has three. Tavares has multiple. Those were four players that Daniel Alfredsson would be behind. Just in stats. Who had better seasons? Well, the guy scoring multiple 30-goal seasons. Not just the guy who did it twice in 18 years. But I'm just replying to Sens and Buffalo fans with basic stats, telling them how bad their teams are, and
that was easy.
For real, it's I find it a little sad. Matthews signed, people got excited. Buffalo Sabres and the Sens fans, they're just sitting at home like,
What the dog doing?
I love that sound. I don't know what happened. For 3 days straight, I had both fan bases. You guys should go check it out on Twitter. TML domain on Twitter. The handle is 13leafs01. Go check out my feed and see what the hell happened. It's unreal how they just got so triggered. I don't know based on what. But yeah, man, Auston Matthews signed. It's Nylander's going to be next. I don't think Nylander's going anywhere, and I don't think Marner's going anywhere. But if the projections are correct, and based on the projection, so the cap is 83.5 this season, it could be 87 or 87.5 next season, which is approximately $4 million raise. And then it could be another $4 million raise. So we could be at 92 in 2 seasons, and that's when Tavares and Marner expire. And I'm fully expecting Tavares to expire at $11 million and then take a 5.5 deal, like a Bergeron deal, and go into retirement. Like, that's his retirement contract. He probably won't be captain by that time. And the cap going up significantly. Tavares' deal coming off the books and signing for a lesser amount. The Leafs are going to have a ton of money to spend. Currently, with Nylander not signed, and Bertuzzi being a free agent, and Domi being a free agent, and Klingberg and Samsonov, everybody on one-year deals, the Leafs are going to have just north of $33 million in cap next summer. Now, if Nylander signs for anywhere between $9 and $10 million, that goes down to $23 million. But $23 million is a lot of money. Like, the Leafs have a lot of flexibility, and this Matthews deal doesn't take away from that, because as the cap goes up, he's taking up the same amount of his slice of the pie isn't any bigger. It's very technically it is bigger, but it's a very minuscule amount. So 13.25 looks like a big number. Everybody keeps comparing it to McDavid's 12.5 and McKinnon's 12.6, and saying, oh, he's the new highest player in the NHL. But clearly, when those contracts end, they're going to go above Matthews, because Matthews is not taking up the same amount of cap as them. So technically, if we look at where is it? Connor McDavid. So Connor McDavid is taking up 16.7% of the cap of the Oilers cap. Now, if we look at what is it? Next year's cap is 87 million. 16.67, right? Yeah. So if Matthews wanted the same cap percentage as McDavid, 16.67 of the $87 million cap that's going to be in effect next season, he would be getting $14.5 million. And that's really where the speculation came from, that Auston Matthews is looking for 14 or 15 million dollars. He was looking for McDavid and Nathan MacKinnon have a higher cap percentage than Matthews. They're taking up more of the cap when they sign their deals, whatever the cap was when they signed their deals, than Matthews. So Matthews was like, okay, I am getting a shorter term, but I'm also not getting the same money as Connor McDavid and Nathan MacKinnon, right? So the actual AAV matters, but at the end of the day, everybody is ranked based on cap percentage. How much of the cap are you taking on your team? And, you know, Connor McDavid's at 16.67 and Matthews is at 15.1. So technically, Matthews got a raise. Yes, that's true, technically. But I think, you know, if you just look at the numbers, McDavid and MacKinnon take more cap space on their team than Matthews does. And I think it's proper to look at Matthews and say, you know, thanks. You didn't take all the money you could have. You could have gone to 14 or 14.5 easy because McDavid's cap percentage is higher, and you could have gotten that, but you didn't. And that's taking less. So overall, I like this deal. He could have taken less, and the Leafs could have asked for more years, but they compromised. True did a decent job. Matthews got the same cap percentage, and they got his prime years. The Leafs have 5 years to win a cup. I'm pretty sure if the Leafs don't win a cup and Matthews is 31, he's gone. Or he's going to sign somewhere else. He's going to chase a cup. He looks like the type of guy that's looking for legacy. He wants to, you know, really, you know, drive home the fact that he's a championship player and he was great and he's a prolific goal scorer. I think he's looking for all that stuff. And hopefully he finds it in Toronto because that's a win-win. That means he got to accomplish what he wanted to accomplish. Us fans got to celebrate a championship, and he's going to get paid what he wants. And I'm pretty sure if you know, all things aside, no crazy pandemics popping up, if the cap keeps going up by 3 or 4 million in 4 years, that could be anywhere between 12 and 16 million. So we could be going from 83.5 this year, and we could be at $100 million by then. And then you could see Matthews getting paid his $15 million a season for 7 years or 8 years. You know, that's more than $100 million. It works out good. So I personally, I'm putting my stamp of approval on this. Tree Living did good. The Leafs did good. I'm not gonna start whining that, you know, our stars never signed for 8 and other people's stars do sign for 8. At 8 years, you were looking at Connor McDavid's cap hit of 16.6, and that just means that Auston Matthews was going to get $14.5 million for the next 8 years. And I personally am not a fan of that deal. But at the end of the day, who am I?
I am Groot.
Nobody really. But yeah, Sens fans, Sabres fans, I hope you guys are having a good summer. I hope your teams have good seasons. I hope you guys make the playoffs. I hope you kind of come out of this stage where you're completely irrelevant in hockey. But all I can say about the people in my feeds that keep telling me Tage Thompson is better than Matthews and Stützle is better than Matthews.
Stop it. Get some help.
Michael Jordan said it best.
Stop it. Get some help.
That's all I could really say. But I think as Leaf fans, we should be partying. It was a really good day. Matthew signed for a good number, for a good term. I can't wait to see where the Leafs are going to be. But when he's 31 and he's a free agent, there's a good chance Tavares might not even be on the team anymore. He might be too old to decline and everything. But yeah. Matthew signed, baby. Let's go. Stay tuned for the first official episode of season 4 of the TML Domain podcast. We'll be dropping next week. And we're going to get the season started. I know I've been posting a lot about my basement renovation and the Ultimate Maple Leafs fan cave. That basement is done. I'm going to do a whole video on the basement and the theater screen and everything that I put downstairs. It came out really amazing. I can't wait for the season to start. I cannot wait for the season to start. My buddies on the street are all going to come over, and we're going to do a special video for the first official game of the season, which is I think October 10th. I'm going to do a big video of us watching the game down there. It's amazing. It's like a museum down there. Jerseys. I got Matthews' hockey stick where he scored 60 goals. I got gloves. I got Vladdy's bat. You guys will see it. Stay tuned for that video as well. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Hit the like and subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. Love you guys, Leafs Nation. Let's go. This season is going to be amazing. We're going to talk about the roster in the first official episode of the season. We're definitely going to talk about Bertuzzi and Domi and where they're going to fit in, and the defense especially. So stay tuned. Talk to you guys soon. Appreciate it. Bye.